the school that I went to, like high school, middle school, elementary, it was also a predominantly white private school. And I can recall, I never really thought about this incident until like you're watching the video. We were playing outside Foursquare, and like it was like an intense game of Foursquare. And this light-skinned girl, she was black, well, she was mixed, told me, she was like, "You're made out of dirt." And she was trying to play it off like, "I'm just kidding, like literally, we're all made out of dirt, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "I'm not stupid, like I understand that you're trying to be offensive." And I told the teacher and everything, and they handled the situation, but I guess that was the first time I really like realized I was different in terms of like, I'm darker than other people. And at Bluffton, it's an overall very good school. Very, very nice people, very respectful community. But a lot of those people come from very small areas like Lima, Findlay, and other places that you've never really heard of. And they don't know better, which I would like to assume everyone knows, like what to properly say, how to treat a person or whatever, but that's not true because they're taught, black people are bad, or black people, stay away from black people because you might act like this or do that and stuff. And there was a situation where one of my friends who's white, he said, "Man, I've never had a lot of colored people in my life before." And I was like, "John, what did you just say?" He said, "I never had a lot of colored people in my life." I was like, "Okay, let me stop you. We're not going to continue to say that to people because it's not appropriate." And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." But I would say being in that position at a school like that and having natural hair, like throughout the summer I wear box braids, and then I'll keep them in for like a couple of months at school, and then I'll take them out and wear my natural hair for a little bit. And that's like a shocker to everyone because they're like, "Oh my God, look at your hair. Is that yours?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's mine." And they're just like really confused, and they think I chopped my hair off and like restarted everything. I'm like, "No, it's just who I am." But I take that position, being one of them, literally 6 girls out of 1,000 kids at the school, one of the 6 black girls out of the school. Like, I take that as a huge responsibility because I know people are curious about black people and they have their stereotypes about how black people are supposed to act and everything. So I take that as a huge responsibility and understand that my position at that school is important as a black girl who is very responsible, is well academically, holds a lot of high positions at school. And I just take pride in like my race, my skin tone. My parents and my entire family have always like, they never said like, you should be light skinned or be careful, blah, blah, blah. They're just like, embrace who you are 100%, go all out. And you see I wear these natural earrings and I have black queen earrings and everything like that. And I don't hold back when I'm at Bluffton just because I'm one of 6 girls. Like, get over it. I'm a black girl. It is what it is. And I just take a lot of pride in who I am. Yes, there's moments where I'm like, man, I wish I was light skinned because all of the dudes like light skins and I'm over here dark skinned, only one, like feeling left out. But that was like, ultimately you get over that. And it's not easy either. I shouldn't say that. Like, it's just a natural thing to just get over because it does hurt. But like I said, like there's other black people.
How did you get over the fact that you felt that at one point you wanted to be a light-skinned girl?
Yeah. I guess I'll just say like, I cried a whole bunch of times to my mom, like, why am I like this? Why don't I need dudes like me? Blah, blah, blah. And she always told me, my parents always told me, like, the right one is going to appreciate you for who you are. You need to focus on you, not worry about if dudes like you or not, and worry about getting your education, being the best version of you, being a saved woman and doing what you need to do, and then you can worry about all that stuff later. So I think just everyone kind of hyping me up, like, your stuff, act like it, know it, walk in it. That kind of helped me like move on. And then I also have black friends at Bluffton who were all like, go black people, we got our backs, each other's backs at school. And I wear my afro and they're like, yeah, go Leslie, blah, 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 and like just gas each other up over just any little thing that we do at school, which is what I love. So also like just surrounding yourself with friends that encourage you and accept you for you and don't act fake around them. Like, just be 100% you, and whoever appreciates it, that's who you keep in your life. And whoever like puts you down, they can get to step in because they're not important. Right. And it's gonna suck, but ultimately it's for your good. So
okay, then we got one more person who's gonna speak and give a testimony. this beautiful chocolate sister, successful in all kind of ways. It's Makeda.
What's your name, sister? What's your name? Leslie. I think I'm going to respond to Leslie. So I feel like I might be Leslie like several years. I'm not going to say how many years, but I went to predominantly white schools. I went to a private high school, and I was one of, there were 3 black kids in my high school class out of 100. And I think that when you're younger, you don't really see the difference. I mean, you hear the comments, but they don't really have context. You don't really see the differences until you get to college and you start seeing the disparities, right? How they have extra money for lunch and to eat at this restaurant, and you don't have money like that. You see how the professors treat you differently, you know what I mean? Despite all your talents and all of those things that you bring to the table, you see how people treat you differently. And you're not stupid, so you notice the differences. And I guess as I'm trying to process all of this, it makes me think about my experiences because it doesn't end. Like I'm an attorney for a major corporation, a Fortune 100 company. I do in-house counsel work, and they love all of that black girl magic and all that smarts that you bring. But when it's time for promotions, I notice that I don't have the look of the girls. I'm not tall, I'm not light-skinned, long hair. The way I wear my hair now is how I show up at work, nose ring, the whole thing. And I do see the differences, right? But I think that you can't try to control something that you can't control, and I've gotten really good at controlling the thing that I can't control, which helps me to be an influencer. And so this might be, I'm more really having a conversation with you, but everybody else gets a chance to kind of hear the conversation. I think that from a very external perspective, we have a light-skin bias in our society. They have this Harvard implicit bias test, and you can go online, and I suggest everybody Google Harvard implicit bias test and take it. And you'll notice you'll get a result, and you can do the skin tone. There's different ones, but you'll see that people have a preference for the lighter skin, that that's good, and the darker skin is bad. And it doesn't really matter whether you're black or white or Hispanic. It's all of us in this society who have grown up in this society. We have that bias, right? So my thought is that's something that I can't control because it's bigger than me. It's way bigger than me. It's bigger than you. But the things you can control, you can control how you show up. You can control how you feel about you, and that's what comes out, and that's what takes up the space in the room. You can smell good, right? You can have your hair done in a cute kind of way. I like jewelry. I like to adorn myself. I think that you do all of those things. You're funny, and you're smart, and I don't think anybody can resist being around somebody who's smart and who's funny and who makes them feel good about who they are. People talk about how that idea of beauty fades. I really do believe that. Like, as you get older and you're in relationships, you'll start to really see your personal power. That there could be someone, there's always going to be someone more beautiful than you, but they're not going to be, and that's externally. Where you win the game and where your advantage is that part that's bigger. It's like an iceberg. That exterior, that's like the little tip of the iceberg. Where you win the game is where you really develop all those other parts of you that over time become way more important and way more significant than those externals. And you really can't control that. I know I'm rambling, but the other thing that I had to think about is when we watch these videos, it really makes the dark-skinned girls or the dark-skinned people seem so sympathetic and victims, and that the light-skinned people have this advantage. And I guess my concern is that we all struggling out here, right? So the light-skinned girls have their own issues that they're dealing with. So I don't like when we take these types of videos and we use them in some way to say that now we need to big up all the dark-skinned girls to the detriment of the light-skinned girls. I think that we need to actually look at them as those are our sisters. And so we shouldn't be competing with them and trying to say that because I'm dark now I'm better than you. It's like, no, I'm equal to you, and we're beautiful in our own type of way. And I think that's what we need more of. And so I hope that that's what we take from these videos, is that if you're light-skinned, understand what your darker-skinned sisters are going through and help support them and lift them up. And then vice versa. There's some things that your light-skinned sisters are going through that you may not even understand, because maybe, I know I have some sisters who are conscious. I think about Navita when I think about this all the time, and this is just totally me just being a dark-skinned girl trying to understand, because this is the most conscious sister. She's Angela Davis around here, and I think, well, how does that make her feel about having light skin, right? Because I'm sure she wonders how it got that way. You know what I mean? And I think about historically, we can't control what's happened to our ancestors that's led to how we show up today. So part of who a person is on the outside, they can't control that anyway. So why do we hold that against them one way or the other? But I'm going to give it back. Or do you have questions? I guess I should have said, does anybody have questions? And not just you, anybody got a question?
I have a question. I want to share something that I did.
You can.
Well, before he goes, does anybody have a question for me or anything they want to address?
When's your birthday?
It's your birthday.
Birthday.
I never had the challenge of dealing with brown skin, light skin, dark skin as an individual. But something I grew up with all my life, wanted to be at least 6 feet. At least, like, right? You know, because when I was coming up, if you weren't tall, dark, and handsome, you was out of the game. If you wasn't an athlete, you was out of the game. If you couldn't sing, you was out of the game. You know, if you couldn't do all that, you was out of the game. Guess what? I was out of the game. Every which way, I was out of the game. I pay Pam, you know, like once a month and everything, like just to stay with me and everything like that. No, but what I found out in the years to come, because I had to deal with almost some of the same stuff, the different skin tones and things like that, was I had to look in the mirror. And I actually physically did this, you know. I had to actually look in the mirror. And I had to look at the blemishes that I didn't like and appreciate them and embrace them. I had to look at the fact that 5'4" was going to be it for you and embrace it. You know, I had to look at whether it was brown skin or dark skin that you was or wasn't going to have. You was going to have to do the things that short people do and be just as giant and as tall as anybody else. And realize that your differences is the reason why we're born. We're born with our differences to make our differences the thing that increases our will to want to be just who we are. And then so we're not defined by our shortness or our tallness or our darkness or our light skin or our brownness. You know, we might even be defined by our intellect. And then that has no shade, no color. You know, it has no nothing. So in that, being inspired and listening to this great movie, I wrote this poem called You Are. And it goes like this. You are your hair, your skin tones, your past evolving to a different you, a today you from yesterday's news. You are your eyes, your ears, your tears, your fears, your fars, your nears, your directions to where your journey steers. Your lasting, your lacking, your stand up to your fall backing, your success and your slacking. Your will that keeps stacking, scaffolding, and packing the precious elements of you. Your mind, your hair, your eyes, your ears, that hear you speak beauty to them all. Because you are your hair, your skin tone, your past evolving to a different you, a today you from yesterday's news. You are your eyes, your ears, your tears, your fears, your fars, your nears, your directions to where your journey steers, your lasting, your stand backing, your slacking, your stand up to your fall backing, your successes to your slacking, your will that keeps you stacking, scaffolding, and packing the most precious elements of you, your mind, your hair, your eyes, your ears, that hear you speak beauty to them all.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anything? Let the lady up, then you come up. Thank you for coming.
I just want to talk a little bit about the day when I realized just truly how some Caucasian people look at us as women. There was a girl named Sylvia that worked with me. We were both equal. We were both supervisors at the jobs that we worked at. She called me in the office. She said, I just want to be honest with you about something. So, you know, I was like, what now? And she said, I'm just going to be honest with you, tell you that I'm a little bit jealous of you. And I said, okay, I'll bite. She said, because when we're going somewhere, I'm in the bathroom trying to make my face up, and when I look at you, you just naturally beauty. She said, you don't put on no makeup, you don't put on anything, and it's always you just coming in like, hey, and she said, people just accept you for who you are. She said, you're a natural leader. When you come into the room and you say, hey, let's go, they get to work. They recognize the authority in you as a black woman. Me, I got to try hard.
All right.
Okay, so it's just, sometimes they may look at you like, it's just fear. They don't understand where all that swag come from. They don't understand the strength of who you are. They don't understand that. It's nervous to them. It makes them scared. You know, they will always say, well, why is your department this way? Because they respect me, and we're together, and we have a sense of community in our areas. You know, why do we want to? Well, you know, it was just, to hear her say that to me, said, you shouldn't look at your body, you know? She was like, I have to do so much to look like this. She said, you'll look and be like, oh, you know, I might make a little off comment like, ooh, I look a mess. And she said, and all I see is beauty. She said, I gotta work. It just seems like I gotta work so much harder. And the other end, I'm thinking, I have to work so much harder. You know what I'm saying? But on the other, she was like, no, I gotta work so much harder just to look like you, to get respect like you do. You know, so young ladies, it'll come natural to you. They'll wonder about who you are. They might even talk about you and say, well, you weak, you this or that, but just know that you're not. And just know if they're looking at you, they're laughing at you, it's because they're jealous of you.
Oh, yeah.
That's just jealousy. That's what jealousy looks like. When they want to look and say, it was always my nose, and for my son to have my same nose, we have twin noses, so it was always his nose going to always. You got a big nose. And I always say, as an adult, nobody ever asked me for no nose. Okay? So that's, as an adult, that's what I say. You know, now he's an adult and he may say the same thing, I don't know. But he was born, he was really light-skinned, and I just remember, I knew he was going to be dark-skinned because his little knuckles and his little feet was dark-skinned, but he was like really light. And I remember being excited, like, oh, he's going to be dark-skinned. And I come from my father, my grandfather told my grandfather told my father, he was in love with this lady named Darnetta. I learned this when I was much older. We was at the hospital, and my dad said, I probably would have married her. I said, well, why you marrying my mom? He said, because my dad said that she was too black and I was going to have ugly kids.
Wow. Shame.
That hurt me so bad. That hurt me so bad. But then, later on in our history, I find out my grandfather, who was very dark complected, he bought my grandmother for a cow and a pig, and she was very light-skinned. She was an Indian, so he went and bought her. And the whole time we was growing up, we saw that strong him. She never had a driver's license. She was always at home. So that's just something like that was deep-rooted in him. That he didn't want to have no dark skin. But I'm here today, look black, then all outdoors, and I'm proud of it.
All right.
I'm dark, but I am dark. All right.
All right, for those that like, because we're going to do stuff like this, come on up. We're going to do stuff like this on a monthly basis. If you aren't on the black signal, go on and text in 614-300-1875. She was just up here talking about her ancestors every morning. Well, every morning, but the weekends. All right, and, we are up toasting our ancestors, so y'all can feel free to join us. I send out a text message every morning to everybody that's on there. We could call them the Daily Toasters, and we get it in. Have different conversations stuff and different shows, but I'm just doing that as an invitation. Whenever we have events, or if I hear about events, I try to put them on this and send them out. Right now we have a list of about 115 people. So when events pop off, I'm sending it out. Now, if you don't want to do the Daily Toaster, just let me know, because I don't want to be texting nobody at 5 o'clock in the morning and y'all be waking up tripping, right? Talking about don't text me no more. But if you can put yourself on the list and let me know what you want me to hit you about, and I will hit you about all these events. Because this type of stuff is important for us as far as community building and experience, so we can have those discussions. Come on up here. Come on up here. Hey, Sus. Oh, you want me to bring it to you? Here you go.
Hi.
Uh-oh.
How you guys doing?
happy to be here with you guys. I don't want to be a hypocrite, but I'm very touched right now. Because being who I am, I feel blessed that I can call you my family. I don't have to like you.
Yes, right.
I really don't like happy. However, I have witnessed a lot in my day because I too am dark skinned. But not just dark skinned, I'm Haitian. My real name is unbelievable. I hated it for a long time because it's Creole, patois. And when I came from New Jersey to Columbus, Ohio, I was blown away because I was unaware of black and white. Because everybody was mixed from where I was from. It's all culture and everything. But I learned to get in. One day, I was at sophomore middle school. And the Haitians, they were in a raft coming from Cuba to Florida. And some of them were my cousins. And some of them were being eaten by sharks and killed by jellyfish. Jellyfish kill you, isn't it? But, and people in my classroom were laughing. I got caught African booty snatcher a couple times because
Here you go, girl. He's a grabber.
I mean, I never have problems with ladies, friend. No, but and these are people like they were black like me, I suppose. But I was not like them. I know my heritage, I know like my people, and I was like, wow, we're not the same. But my love for myself and my love for my black woman was like tremendous, extraordinary. And if you go to some circles of the United States, you will not believe what I've done with black women. However, this guy right here, I'm not. This young man, this brother right here, he was one of my groomsmen at my wedding. Have you been to a wedding like that before yet?
That was nice.
No, never. Shut up.
That was nice.
There was not.
That was a nice wedding.
There's been no wedding like my wedding, ever that you see. Because I wanted to give my wife at the time a gift from God. Like, baby, you ain't never had. We gonna divorce, true enough, but you will never get this kind of experience ever because nobody will love you the way a black man who knows himself, thyself, will love you today. We got married by Jeremiah Wright. Remember that? I went to school. I went to church with Barry, Barack Obama, whatever his name is. I went to live in church with him. And so I was like, yo, I'm about to have it all done. I have my guys up here. And I just looked around like, I had hope for my black people. My white people too. My African Americans, my Caucasians, my Hispanics, my Chinese. Seeing this video should not be like, oh, like Hannah said, should never feel like sympathy. We rise together. Oh, my brother Yinda gave me this one great. We rise together. We rise together. And you have to believe we rise together. It's important that you understand This is the most important time in history. Your existence. Not nobody else's existence, your existence. What you have to give is because you got a gift yourself. And it's important you can give a little bit, just a little bit. And we can all benefit. Humanity can benefit from it. So, reason why I'm saying because when I was a child, I had that little bit of self-doubt, but I had a whole lot of love inside of me. Because I didn't read books about my heritage, going through all kind of crazy stuff. I watched in the news as my relatives were trying to get out of a bad situation in another country and come to this country. And some of them died horribly.
Oh, wow.
I was just a little kid watching this. Some of us have read stuff about it, but to actually live it, experience it, and see it, like I said, I'm about to leave right now. I'm going to thank you for your time. The most important time in history is now. Appreciate the gift that God has given you and give just a little something today and tomorrow. Ashe? Holla! Fred, don't talk to you.
Was there, you got something you want to come on? Or you want me to bring it to you?
I just don't know. I don't know if I necessarily need a mic because my voice is very strong.
Mine.
You can't hear me. I just wanted to say I grew up in Wilberforce, Ohio, and so I grew up around a lot of culture all of my life. I lived across the street from Wilberforce University, and I heard the bells from Central State, the National Black Anthem, every day of my life when I grew up, and I was always on that campus. So I grew up a very strong black woman, and so as I matriculated through my years and going off to like college and stuff like that, you got older where men would say something about being attractive. It's always like, ooh, light skin, or ooh, what are you mixed with? You're so beautiful, what are you mixed with? I feel like I knew from inception of that it was an opportunity to educate.
That's right, sis.
Never once have I ever considered myself anything but chocolate. And so it's always an opportunity to say, I don't have to be mixed with anything to be beautiful. And I have a friend of mine who is the mother of 5 of my godchildren. And she happens to be born of a white father who she's never had a relationship with. But she's very proud of being light-skinned. So there was a day, it was actually the day that we were watching Queen. We watched that movie together. And she said something to me. She said, about what she hopes my children look like because of the individual that I was dating. And she was like, you don't want your children to have his nose, right? And I was confused. I forget who just said that, but I was confused. And so I told her and educated her about who we were. And when she talks about her children, which are my children because they're my godchildren, and says, I'm so grateful that I have light-skinned children, I always tell my godchildren that they are chocolate and try to just educate them. So that's their mother, but it's just something where we have an opportunity to teach. But sorry, I have notes because I get really passionate. But not only have I been called light-skinned or what am I mixed with, but in the workplace, I was called ambiguous. And so, and I've seen it because my image has been used on almost every publication of where I've either attended or graduated or go. And so I'm a proud Western medical school dropout. I know how to get in there, but it wasn't for me. But they are still using my image on their educational things to attract people because I'm ambiguous. And I think that's horrible. So that's something that I know that in these spaces a lot of times Miss Navita and myself might not speak up because we see how there's that divide and how oftentimes it seems as though we're on the favorable end, even though it almost made me want to throw up saying that. But I'm so grateful that we've talked about the other sides too. So we could just be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to call myself that, but we're the L word and our hair is whatever, our eyes. But I know for us, it's never been like that. And there's an opportunity for anybody in here who might get that compliment. It's not a compliment.
Right.
It's not. So no matter how young you are or how gorgeous, you're gorgeous regardless. Like, that is not a compliment. And it doesn't help yourself or your family or the children that you'll have or who we are as a people in totality by embracing it as such. So when the cat call or do whatever, hey, no. You turn around and you say, excuse me, sir, I'm not mixed, and you let them know. It's worked for me. At least we're gonna be chocolate together.
Anybody else? Any more testimonials? One major point from the movie that may have touched you. From the movie. Like, anybody was interested in what they said about the media? How about the skin lightening that's going on in Africa? I've seen that myself. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It causes cancer too.
Oh yeah, it's crazy here, but when you go to when I went to Ghana, oh my God. Oh my God, it's crazy. So we got a global epidemic. But this is the question. This is another question then. Do y'all think since that video was shot, because that was shot when Barack Obama was in office, do y'all think it got better, or did it get worse, or is it still about the same?
It gets worse. First time I seen it, I don't know if it get better.
Right.
I think it's getting worse, especially in the school system amongst the children. I think it's getting worse.
Yeah. How about you?
I believe it's getting worse. I believe that. That was Barack Obama as president. Now we have another. You know what I mean? He just disrespects everybody. So I just feel like it's just getting worse. I feel like people can openly express how they feel and believe it's okay to do so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Okay. Go ahead.
Just yesterday, I was downtown, a young school girl. She walked past me and she was gray. And I looked like boo-boo. Anybody ever teach you how to use proper makeup? She was dark-skinned, but her foundation, her makeup, to lighten her up, made her gray. And she was happy with that. So, when you said you get worse or better, it's all relative. But like I said, the most important part of history is now. If you're seeing this stuff, just find some kind of self-worth.
How can we address this as a community?
I think really taking the time to, especially with the young girls, empower them and remind them, regardless of their phenotype, their hair type, that they are beautiful, building up that self-esteem. That because this whole idea of a European standard of beauty, it doesn't make sense that we go by that in 2018. But it is perpetuated in the media, and that's why we have to make our own media. We have to define what beauty is for ourselves. It's not just a physical thing. I think I remember hearing in the movie about, characteristics, positive character being the standard of beauty. Because really, when it comes down to it, that's what it's really about. Like the lady said in there, you are the keeper of the soul. And so we need to be teaching the next generation of girls, regardless of skin color, skin type, hair color, that it's not about how you look on the outside, but it's about what's going on in here. And we need to educate. And I think walking around as a natural woman and being proud of that is a way to plant that seed. When I first became a teacher at 23, I used to dress different, and I wore hair weaves and things. but I had a lot of African American girls in my classroom, so that made me mature a little bit and say, why would I represent that to them? You know, so I began to go natural at 23, and I'm grateful for taking that journey. It was a journey of commitment, and now as I'm in school, you know, representing, the girls are, first of all, I'm just so proud of Columbus in the number of natural girls in the school system now. It was not like that when I came to Columbus 13 years ago. It was not like that. But now we see girls embracing their beauty because there are women who are brave enough to define themselves for beautiful. Whether you wear your hair straight or kinky or locks, it's important. And another thing I do, a lot of girls will say, "Oh, I love your dreadlocks." I don't like that term because not that I love the Rastafarian community and the Rastafarian religion and all of that, but we consider our locks to be love locks because we take care of it. It's an embracing who we are as women and embracing our natural beauty. So I always remind them that, you know, I redefine things for them. You know, and I already see a shift. I just transitioned jobs from the health department to working with the high school, and already girls are coming out representing their natural hair. It's already a shift within 3 weeks. Where some girls who would just wear it, they would hide it a little bit, you know? But now they're rocking their froze, you know, and one girl even, she put in a weave, but it looked like a natural hairstyle. Right. So sisters just representing their beauty helps to influence other girls, other women, and we see that. And then we've got to remind the girls that it is not one standard of beauty. If you got chocolate skin, you're beautiful. If you're vanilla, you're beautiful. We come in so many different shades. There are even light-skinned original people in Africa. Original Africans who have light skin. So it's not just, like Sister was saying, you know, we're not just going to try to have this continuous colorism issue. The next generation, they're already embracing themselves, and we just got to speak it into existence.
All right. Men's roll. What's the men's roll in this? Huh? Men's roll. I can't let men get away. Now, come on now. This ain't a woman issue. I mean, this is a people issue. So, brothers, you at the top? You? I thought you were shy. You?
I learned from the back.
All right.
Well, I guess I could touch a little bit on that. But first, I wanted to say something that, like, they hide secrets from us right in our face. Little stuff that they don't always say, like, if it's hot outside, they tell you what, don't wear black. Because if you wear black, you will be hot, right? But light is what makes everything grow. So if something absorbs light, if black absorbs light, and light is the essence of life, then that's saying something is very special about black, about dark. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I said that exactly right, but we see the plants, we put them in the sun, we try to make sure plants get as much sun as they could possibly get because that light is what makes things grow. So it's something about darkness that's just inherently special, that interacts with the sun, that makes stuff grow. So it's something about our skin that is inherently special because it absorbs the most light, because dark absorbs light. That's just something that, I don't know, I just kind of noticed that, pieced that together. As far as men, I think it's dealing with people and looking for a woman that matches what you want to be about in life. I think, like, physical beauty, it comes in all different shapes and forms and colors or whatever. I don't think that's as important as much as just finding somebody that can be your match on the journey that you want. You know, I think that's just really, just putting, like, that conversation is really dead. I mean, just being on the journey that you want and embracing your journey and embracing whoever it is that embraces the same journey as you.
Anybody else? Elder Robert, go ahead, Elder. You got on that Daily Toaster shirt. Go ahead, Elder Robert.
I just want to say that I have a wife, and my stepdaughter have a husband, and now the guy goes to bingo, and it's happened to be a white guy. And I know this white guy, but I don't say nothing to him at all. I don't like it, but ain't nothing I can do about it. So what happened, he said, if I see that guy, I'm going to run over him because he don't like me. I know him. And I said, so what happened, he played bingo. He paid my stepdaughter way to bingo. He called his girlfriend, his wife, but she's married. But he don't say nothing. He don't say nothing. He just I call that a chop.
Okay, Robbie.
Any more chump stories out here you want to share? We're going to close out. I want to thank everybody for coming. You want to go to the circle? Y'all want to do a circle? Well, let's circle up. Let's circle up.
Come on, Ashley. Hey.
No chumps in the circle, please. No chumps in the circle.
Hurry up, man. Elder West, do you mind closing us today?
Oh gosh. Okay, release your hands. Everybody, this looks like an oblong circle. Okay. Center yourself, please. May I have permission from the community to close?
Yes.
Yeah.
Elder Robert.
Right here.
May I have permission to close?
Yes.
Before you can join the circle, you must join yourself, like Sister Rooney said. And they said in the film. So first cross and hug yourself. And as you hug yourself, you get an understanding who you are, where you are, and where you're going. Because if you know who you are, where you are, and where you're going, you take us with you. So take your left hand and put it out with the palm up. Now take your right hand, put it out with the palm down, and connect with the person next to you. Take your left foot and put it forward. This is your heart side. This is your emotional side. This is the side that brings you love and compassion. Take your right foot and bring it up. This is that intellectual, I don't want to do it side. They have to balance each other. We call that ma'at. There is no such thing as either or in our world. There is no such thing as what?
Either or.
Okay, use your playground, boys. There is no such thing as what?
Either or.
Right. We call ourselves a balanced family. That means if there's up, there's down. If there's in, there's out. If there's left, there's right. You know, if there's hot, there's cold. If there's warm, there's what? Cold. Okay, there we go. Work with it. Work with it. If there's left, there's right. If there's male, there's female. If there's female, male. Okay. We're a balanced culture. Ashe? Ashe. And to end with, we're going to do how many Harambes, brother? 7 Harambes. Okay. And those 7, we want the last one we want to hold on. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 3.
And Harambe means?
And Harambe means pull together.
That's it.
1, 2, 3.
Harambe!
Go round! Harambe! 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 Who's down there counting? Somebody down there. Somebody down there. together. Yeah.
I have no idea.
All they needed was your height. That's all I needed.
Man, every time I went to the dance, because back when I went to the dances, they used to sit on the wall, the ladies and guys. And I go over, and sister, man, this dance, I don't dance anymore. And and I even went and go get a chair and stood on the chair. And I heard him dance. And then the dudes, the big dudes, man, they be like, hey, 4 eyes, shorty, monkey. I mean, I had no directing, it wasn't a problem. Okay. I'm on like, so when I decided, I went to join the airport basketball team. And they said, you can't join. Well, you're short, but okay, everybody on the basketball team is here. So you can't even get to try out unless you can dunk. Hell, I was dunking a long time ago. Because when I stepped on the court, I was 6'3", high to be. Right. And when I stepped off, I was back to a short. I don't know what I'm doing. So when I stepped on, hey, I was ready. So I played for the Air Force. Wow. 90 States Air Force, traveled all over the Far East and stuff like that. When I came off the basketball court, I was still a little short. I couldn't transfer. Yeah. Couldn't transfer that over there, over here. So what I'm saying is, you know who you are. Yeah. Yeah, no, seriously.
People always say, man, I look up, and they don't say look up. It's, I look down at you.
And when was the other buddy was here? When we had that thing? Remember there was the one tall guy we was messing, the three of us was messing with?
Yeah. So the airplane.
Yeah, when they had was it Marcus Garvey? Yeah, it was the Marcus Garvey event. Where are your buddies? Where your buddies at?
Well, he's in D.C.
Oh, he lives in D.C.
The chauffeur. Tashaka lives in Tashaka. He lives in Zanesville.
Oh, he's right next to us.
He's right next to us, but he lives in Zanesville.
But the big
Senghor Jawar, the speaker.
Was he the one we was calling tall, or was it some other dude? Because there were so many of them there.
Right. And we, you know.
And we was messing with you because we were shorter than you.
Yeah, I'm like,
and you were like, I don't feel that.
I've always known short. What do you mean? You gonna exclude me from the short? I get excluded from the short?
There you go.
You was tall class.
You was tall.
I had never been rejected from the tall class, the short class.
We had a thing. It was two another you and I. We said we would beat God. And he tried to get in it. And we told him he was too tall. He couldn't. What?
I couldn't get right. Too tall for the short guy.
He wouldn't accept it. And then there was another guy who was way up there. And we ain't even talking to you.
You said you were too tall for a short?
I was too tall for the short.
This other guy and I, we were like, he's a little bit taller, so we was like, what are you talking to? And he was like, what do you mean? He was like, what do you mean? I can't get the short. No, we ain't talking to you. We're talking to you.
First time I've ever been included from the short people's club. I wasn't
we were talking eye to eye, but he tried to put an eye. And then he brought his car.
You don't know the struggle, okay?
Yeah, you see?
Then he brought his car around. That's right. Because you had your truck. Yeah. And we were like, no, we really ain't talking to you now. You know, the thing was way up there. We had to grab on the something. And then he thought, no. And then there was a guy. How tall was that guy? He was like 8 feet or something. Well, that's what we thought. No,
what we were saying, what I was saying to them, back when I was coming up, my biggest problem was being short and wearing glasses. They used to call me profile, 4 eyes, I mean, all that. I ain't even had no, I mean, there was probably a race problem. But that was,
You couldn't see it.
that wasn't my problem. We went to the dances, and back then, the girls would sit over here, the boys would sit over there, and then they give you time to go.
Alright, I see it. Yep.
You go back. They tell you, okay, the boys, y'all can go ask for the dance, and then you go over and say, oh man, and they would tell you, because they're waiting for short, they're waiting for tall guys.
They're telling you they didn't dance, and then you turn around and see it.
Yeah, no, they tell you, I'm not dancing with tall guys. They tell you that. They would straight up. And then they would wait for tall guys to come on. And then they would be dancing with the tall guys. So, and then they'll either say that, oh, I don't dance with some guys with glasses. I ain't even see it. And I'm a mom. I'm 25th Street. I'm 22nd Street, 27th and 8th. So I knew I went to school in the Italian neighborhood, then the Irish were up north. So I had all of that. His folks, they hit them for mine. They checked them out. Hey, you come here about that.
My grandfather did that.
Yeah, see? So we had all of that. But the big problem was being short. We're glad.
Thank you for sharing this with us.
Let's just Hey, bro, let me tell you a shit. Oh, it's good being seen and not beautiful. Because that beautiful thing is yeah, don't believe it. Sometimes you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Hey, when were you asking for a ride?
No.
Who asked you for a ride? Oh! I forgot that quick. Somebody asked me for a ride. I forgot that quick. See you, young lady. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to.
I'm not riding with a date.
Where you live at? Oh, thank you for telling me.
We have Eastern, we have Western, we have Southern, we have.
There's no more south.
Yeah, I remember.
more west.
I was talking about this earlier. No, I had brought somebody from Ethiopia to Halloween. Remember? Yeah, here, but she was her parents.
Southern? Oh,
I brought a lot of people. But I was talking about it.
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
she
anyway,
did.
well, which one is it?
They coming in here? Tell them except you want to pack up.
Yellow baby.
No, come on around.
What was you doing, Amari?